You
Nathan's
take up a lot of bandwidth.
I'm needing the extra one recently. Are you looking at oranges?
My dad sent me that.
Was he just like, hey, I don't think you're facing those products very well.
He called them rotten, and they're ugly. They're like
They are very ugly.
sumo
They are
mandarins.
shrunk. Did you put those out?
No, that's what they're supposed to look like. They're supposed to be shriveled like.
I would.
Really?
Those do not look
Yeah.
desirable.
Yeah.
No, it
Oh, yeah.
doesn't.
I would not eat
I
those
mean,
oranges.
yeah, if it's priced right, I'm sure the inside's probably fine.
Oh, they're delightful. They're
Price.
just massive mandarins. Alright, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good too.
They kind of look like an old steroid wrestler, 20 years after their prime. You know. That's how it looks. Anyways. No.
I'm good.
Welcome to another still going. Oh my god, we're still doing this. How many years?
We are. I'm having a baby.
He's having a baby.
You have met, married, and are now having a child with somebody in the time that this has been going on.
God.
I want to keep doing this until Price's child takes over Price's spot.
Yeah. Probably in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it won't be long.
Talking about Dylan Jr.
God, I hope so.
That's his name.
That's the best name you could have picked. Anyways, this is your show. That's weird. We're Mason, Dylan, Nathan, and Price, Senior. And on today's episode, Price, what are we covering?
We are going over Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, the TV series. Not the YouTube shorts.
It's funny because we watched it.
We did watch this.
So, give a bit of preface on that. So, the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared started originally as a YouTube video. It was a viral video. You probably saw it. You watched it with your friends. It's like cute puppets, and then it gets really dark all of a sudden. It got very viral. Then they made it into a series. They did about 6 of them, where it's just like 3 to 5 minute songs, always culminating in something scary. Well, some of them don't, but most of them do. Then they took a hiatus. They released a pilot for a TV show that never came to be. They completely scrapped it for some reason. It's called Wakey Wakey. I haven't been able to find it, but they completely scrapped it for some reason. Then a British channel called Channel 4 picked up Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared for a TV series. So we are going over 5 of the 6 episodes
I watched
that are
all
in
6.
that series. Yep, the only one I didn't include was the conclusion. That was the one I didn't include in the 5 that we watched.
The conclusion's the one with the lady and the piano.
Right.
Yo.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I watched all of it. Did everybody? No, just Dylan.
Just 5.
Which is a shame.
Which is still one more than I should have.
Because
based on Tower of God's
Oh
reference.
my god.
Hey, listen, that would have been fair. That would have been fair.
I thought the 6th one was the weakest, which is why I didn't.
Bullshit.
I didn't. Really?
Yeah. It was pretty weird.
No, it's weird. It's out there, but I didn't feel like it didn't hit any emotional beat. I didn't think it was scary. I didn't think it was funny.
So
it's just more of like lore.
So to go back to what you said about your friends had probably told you about the original Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. It is something that you stumble upon or that you are suggested to watch, and it is such a shock and awe factor. As soon as you watch it, especially back 15 years ago, roughly.
I can't remember.
You're just like, what the hell? It's like itching your brain a little bit. It's very weird and eerie.
So for people who hadn't watched this, I've not seen this before. I've gotten that flavor.
Wait, so you've never even
the
seen
No, not even
one?
the original skit. Like, it did not ring a bell. Like,
Man,
no pun intended.
I think this probably would have played a little better if you had.
Yeah, maybe.
For sure.
No, because I've
This
gotten
is the first time you've seen these characters.
Yeah, absolutely,
Ever.
first time. Yeah.
Huh.
No, so I've gotten different flavors of it. So for older millennials, it's kind of like Happy Tree Friends, but with like animatronics.
Yeah.
For the newer kids, it's more like Black Mirror meets Muppets. So for everybody in between, you might have caught the skit. So I think I've covered all of our bases for everybody.
No, that's
Yeah,
perfect.
I think that's probably a pretty fair.
What about Mom, who's probably watching?
Don't watch that. Don't watch
yeah,
it.
you probably shouldn't.
It's not.
honestly.
Not.
Yeah.
Whatever you were thinking. I might check this out. Do that instead. Do that one.
Go garden.
Go
or
garden.
something.
Like, I mean, it's not like offensive, but
No.
it is just like
Jarring.
it's just jarring and
Yeah.
disturbing.
And Kelly Belsini, if you're watching, just put your cinnamon roll recipe in the comments below. Just make sure you're still paying attention.
Just to let us know that you're watching.
Really detailed. I mean, like, so easy that Price could do it. Like, just put that in the comments below.
But it's like SpongeBob. Krabby Patties are made with love, not magic.
That's
So
fine.
like I cannot do the same thing she
Yeah.
did.
Because you don't have that love.
You don't have the love. It's
No,
true.
if I'm making it for you all.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Well,
Why does
that
this
would
taste
be a
salty?
easy-
Yeah.
It's gonna be like the slop that comes out of the vending machine in episode 1.
Hey, good cue. So let's talk about episode.
You mean the free lunch token
Yeah.
vending machine?
Yeah.
So I
No,
want to.
that was too much. You need to put it back.
This is my favorite episode of the show. I love this one. I think it's funny. I think it also gets dark, and I think it has a very very good pacing throughout, and it's absurd the whole time. Like I love how they parody office culture in this
Yeah.
one as well. When where they say like working hard or hardly working,
Yup.
and
Oh yeah.
like,
And he repeats it like 5 times.
It's the Wally effect from the Suburbs episode of Always Sunny. I know you know that reference.
oh yeah,
Where
yeah,
it's,
hot
it's-
one today.
Yeah,
huh?
and it's just like, yeah. You keep hearing the same like, I'm not really trying to talk with you. I'm just trying to pass you by, but I'm verbally obligated to say something. Like you're
I mean,
Yeah.
that is very typical
It
for
is.
office culture.
Yeah.
That is what happens.
Right.
Mhm.
And nobody rips their clothes off and beats them into a tornado of fist or anything.
Like
that.
it always sunny.
Yeah, I like it always sunny. You know what I realized about this first episode is I don't like gross squishy stuff. Because when you guys talked about the food, I'm like, I'm glad somebody brought that up because
The lasagna.
I immediately saw that and I was like, I'm not hungry. Like it's just one of those things where I'm like, ew. Next, like it's how Nathan must feel with a lot of gore stuff that we like will put him through. I just immediately was like, can you guys stop being gross? And they don't.
I kind of like the whole flow of time stuff with that, where it's just like there's one guy who's like time has seemed pretty normal the whole time. It's
Yeah,
like how
yeah.
like what is going on? Like what has happened to everything?
It's
It
been
seems
literally like
time is-
36 minutes.
Right.
And now this dude's the boss.
Are you talking about-
And he's like he's graying, and like the other one's retiring from like
Yeah.
years of working
Working.
on the
The-
job.
yeah, because the duck meets the care hound, which is a little jump scare kind of thing. It gets
Yeah.
spit up, and then they're doing the retirement
Retirement
party for
Yeah.
Yellow Guy, who has a wife, family, kids, and everything. And it leads to somebody like Duck being like, "We're not supposed to be here," and throws the scrapbook in there, and then he reaches in to grab it.
No,
Well, and the whole thing where it's just like the reason it went so off the rails this time in this version of the story is the character that's supposed to be like singing along and like taking them through the whole experience
Just
is
left.
he left and he was trapped inside of like a medical cabinet that
Yeah.
was the first thing that they are like, oh, is there a briefcase here? And it's like, oh, a case? You mean like this thing? And they pointed exactly where the guy was hiding and then forgot about it and then spent the next several years trapped inside of this factory before
Dystopia,
then
like,
realizing
kind
where he was, and he just pulls them back to reality.
And then they get back to where they were, and Yellow Guy's like I had a
Like,
wife,
I had
a
a
family.
child.
Yeah. I do love the guy that's like, why would we want to work? Like, I don't want to do that. And then like Mophead or whatever, I'm terrible about their
Red
names.
guy.
Red
Guy,
guy.
yeah, Red just becomes the boss, and like the seething like passiveness on like I'm never actually working, I'm just falling upwards of all
Yeah.
that.
Now that I've gotten into the corporate world, like deep in business, like
Uh-huh.
I relate to that so much. That like he's the one who picks up the phone and he winds up being in charge of everybody
Yes.
for no reason. And the printer wants him to fire somebody really bad. Like, yeah, fire him. The trash can's like, I'm Gravel, fire me.
Then you had unemployed Brandon, which was maybe the best part of that episode, which was a really dumb like one-liner. You just don't want to be like unemployed Brandon. What? Why can I not just be Brandon?
Yeah.
And he even sings like a little song. He's like, I'm unemployed, Brandon. He just starts cussing.
But fortunately, at least for me, the next episode, which was far better.
This is a cemetery or the one he dies?
The death,
episode?
yeah.
What
Yeah.
did they call him in that episode? Is it James?
David.
David.
Because I'm pretty sure the yellow guy's name is actually David. He has a D on his coveralls.
And he was like, "That's not my name," and they were like, "Oh, poor David."
Yeah.
And The
Yeah.
funeral episode.
It's
was
like,
fun.
well, it's already carved on the tombstone.
Yeah,
we're
carved.
like,
Well,
yeah.
I guess you could just carve David on me.
Yeah, just carve it on there. Yeah.
And none of them understand what death really is.
Yeah.
Like Doug just reading the newspapers, like, "Good news, everybody! I'm dead."
Yeah.
And Rick, I was
Happy to
like,
be
I'm,
there.
like, "I'm supposed to be dead. Like, check your ID card."
Checks it. Recently deceased. Like,
He said, "Oh no, you're not supposed to be dead. I can tell you how to." No, I don't want to know. I'm supposed
Yeah.
to be. I want to be dead.
mhm.
And for some reason, like they do the real scary part of the episode very early with
Yeah.
his heart just falling out of him and that gross like forming of the coffin
Yeah.
that comes
Floorboard.
out.
Well,
Yeah,
it's just like the heart oozes into a pile of goo that then like pulls the floorboards up into a coffin. Yeah.
Which, as like a Lovecraftian horror thing, in theory, would be actually kind of cool. But then something about the way this show does it, I was just like, "There's that you again," like,
Yeah,
that'll come in
This-
later with like the egg coming from the guy later, and then
That
later
or the
episode.
twins and
Yeah,
stuff. yeah. This show does that like in a weird way. It's like it's not rhythmic. There's no real like time frame per episode where like
Mhm.
they are trying to hit it. It just happens whenever they
Yeah.
just drop it in.
It's
and
not so much
just-
that
it's wild.
the tempo is predictable. Like the events are loosely predictable. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
something misleading and cheerful, and then
Mhm.
dark. It's gonna kind of hit that. But like the rate of the episode is never like, oh, we're peaking in the middle and we're
Yep.
curving out. It's like sometimes it's just like, okay, quiet, spike, and then credits. Like,
Yep.
but it's a lot harder for them in the TV show to really hit that spike, like really spike it like that, as opposed to the TV or the YouTube shorts. Because like they can hit that really hard, like the first one, like green is not a creative color or whatever, like it hits it really hard. But in this one, like I feel like it's kind of like a wave, like it goes up and down all the time, and it's just something you have to keep your eye on all the time because there's always something going on
Yeah.
screen that
And
you
it's
can
that
easily
British kind of humor too, where it's just like such a dry like
Mhm.
joke that is placed pretty well.
miss. Yeah, and they just hide little good lines everywhere. Like in this one, I remember like they're looking for a new friend in the book.
Yeah.
And like all of them have like a little saying or something, and one of them's like, "I like fudge," and the other guy goes, "He's too opinionated."
He's too opinionated.
I will say, I still think my favorite part, other than just calling him David throughout the whole show, it was the one where they go into the kitchen and they're like, you have all these people who are just like extras, and they're like, "Oh, David would have loved this," moments like that, and they're like, "You don't even know who he is. Like, you're not there."
It's
And
like,
have-
oh, you're so strong.
yeah, I know. And
You
just
need a tissue.
just like this, the kind of like the circle jerk around the funeral aspect with that. Having had a recent funeral where I felt that, I'm just like, man, that's validating. Like,
Yeah.
there's just something very like, you don't even know who he was. What are you even doing here about it?
A
Like,
lot of people theorize like the lore around is like they like the three characters are kind of like children and like they're getting taught lessons to them all the time.
Mhm.
And in this one, it really seems like in that part in particular, it's like feeling like a little kid when like somebody dies and then like there's all this family coming in and you're like, you don't even know him. I don't know you.
Right.
And it just seems so foreign and why they all seem very off-putting in the like real life kind of costumes
Mhm.
that they were wearing with the big heads.
Well, speaking of off-putting costumes and freakish creatures, there's also, I guess, was the next one the family episode?
Yeah.
Yep.
This
Yeah.
one is the creepiest one.
I will
Yeah,
say
this
by
one
far
is,
none.
yeah, this one's hands
This is
down the
creepiest
creepiest
one.
episode.
It's my personal favorite.
I was gonna
of the
say
bunch.
it's
Oh, it
probably
is?
my
Yeah.
favorite, if not death.
I was gonna say before this that like I thought this one would be somebody's favorite.
Yeah.
because it's just
This
oh,
one.
it's
good.
off-putting the whole
it's-
time.
Yes.
And-
Like
and-
they go all in on this in really great ways.
Yeah, I think
And
like
all about teaching about family too. Like,
Right.
Just another life lesson.
for the
of it,
record,
you know.
I've never learned more about family.
And that family needed a mother, otherwise they wouldn't get the discount.
The
Yeah,
discount
the
on not the Chollops doll.
Chuttle, it's a Chuttle Dollops. or
Yeah,
something
that's
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
He physically couldn't open the bag
Call,
because it's a
call,
family
call
size.
Call them. Yeah. No, this episode I think like leans in right away with it, and it was like different in tempo with that, and I appreciated it because I felt like it just gives you more time to sit with the uneasy of it, and it lets it explore to a deeper level. Like right off the bat, they're opening the bag, and then these two kids pop in, and they're like,
From outside.
yeah, I'm just,
These two really
Really
harshly
harsh.
judgmental kids
Yeah.
that are just like, you're not a family, you can't do that.
And then Duck's like, yeah, we are. We got pictures of. I've got pictures of us.
They're like,
And he
"Yeah,
puts
pictures."
pictures of real life people.
yeah.
He's like, we're a group or a lump or something.
No, the two kids really carry it home. Although like the extended family members really like settle, like make the uncreepiness happen. But they're about the two kids interacting with like the three characters throughout the entire time. It's just like, you wouldn't do this. You're gone. And then like Red just kind of falls back into the kitchen, and he's like, oh.
done. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But by the time it's just like Yellow dressed in like pigtails, and they're singing to him
Oh
in bed.
God! At the dinner table, make the call. Make the call.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it is very fair to say that that whole theory is probably right. The whole thing of them being kids. Because
Yeah.
if you think about it, like the dad is that very like your friend's dad whenever
Grumpy
you're a
dad
little
who-
kid.
yeah.
You're like kind of afraid of
You don't
them,
wanna mess
sort of
with him.
vibe.
You
Yeah.
really don't want to talk to him because you get bad vibes that he wouldn't say anything good to you, right? Like,
Well, and then like the very creepy old grandmother,
Uh-huh.
Who's just making weird noises.
and also the kids being super annoying.
Mhm.
It's like, oh yeah, these are just like some other kids in the neighborhood
Yep.
sort
Yeah.
of vibe.
And now I'm in their house.
Yep.
Well,
and
Now I'm in their house and it's really bizarre and creepy. It's
and
like,
I'm
that's-
living in their culture.
I'm not gonna say a
that
word.
could be
Yeah.
any little kid's experience that happens at any point in life.
Yeah.
Because
You
it's
know,
just new to you.
obviously it doesn't go as crazy as this does, but this is
You're,
this is giving you the exact sort of vibe that you could like that a kid would have found themselves in.
your sleepovers didn't end up like this.
Yeah.
This episode also made me really appreciate like all the practical effects that they use for everything, especially with the tree. That's like, I'll find out your family history.
Oh,
Red,
God,
just,
the tree
just give me
draining
like
the
a
blood.
blood sample.
That was
Yeah.
cool as hell.
And like it shows him like draining Red Guy, and like it's like they make a whole new puppet because he's like he looks emaciated, like
Yeah.
he's like his veins are
whitish
sticking
gray.
out. Like,
He was like, no, I need
What?
more. Still need it. No, you're just gonna hang on. Yeah. That tree is horrific.
yeah, it is.
And I really want it as a decor piece. And like, mostly here, Nathan. Here,
Yeah,
like, it'd be
just
great.
right
as
there
all-
would be
Just
great.
Yeah.
replace it right over there.
Right.
Or,
If we could-
just
yeah,
have it hanging
if we
up
could have
over
it
top
hanging
of
out,
this.
that would have been really good. And then I could get my blood checked, and you know,
Yeah.
And
Just
then-
have a tree with like little blood bags.
Yeah,
hanging
Yeah.
out.
these are red.
right.
Yeah.
You know what it goes back to? It reminds me of it's the same like disturbing like feeling that I had from Tank Girl with the dehydration.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember you said that.
Yeah.
Flattens your skin out.
I know, and I was just like, okay, this is more tolerably gross, but I'm still hitting it a little bit in there on that. Yeah.
And then it culminates in what I think is like the most unsettling part of the whole series, which is them like telling him like make the call, and then finally like the chicken just falls out of the down the roof, and then like you see their mouths open, and it's just like
yeah.
it looks almost like Little Shop of Horrors, like the inside of that mouth almost,
Yeah.
with like very viscous and like very pointed teeth, and they just start going crazy on it.
Well, and then Yellow Guy's dad shows up.
Yeah.
And things like the door shuts
Yeah.
and things get way worse. Like,
Right.
I don't know what's going on the other side of that door, but it's just like I think that dad is consuming that whole family.
Yes. Yeah.
Because blood flies on the door, you hear like very guttural growling and like munching, and like, what is that?
It really, I think I probably enjoyed it because it just felt like the puppet version of Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
Like, how
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
introduced
Oh,
to the
yeah.
family, I'm like, this is just the same thing. Like,
Yeah, very similar vibe. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, but otherwise, I think that pretty much covers episode 3.
4.
3? Is that
3.
I
That's
thought,
4.
I thought it was 3.
Oh, no, you're right.
No, yeah.
There's a bus and then there's a computer virus.
Oh, there's
Or
there's the
computer.
worm. Yeah.
The worm is the
Yeah,
next
the
one.
The worm's the
Yeah,
next
Worm's
one.
the next one, and then you have the like
Warren.
the transportation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the transport episode.
episode.
Yeah.
You're talking about Warren and the Eagle.
Yeah.
That episode.
Okay, can I ask up front? Is anybody's favorite episode the worm episode?
No.
No.
This
No.
one. This
It's
one.
my least favorite.
It's one pretty sucks.
The-
Yeah.
Actually, the last two I thought
that's
were
the thing
terrible.
is like having the main person in a story being an annoying person
Yes.
is
Really
most
hurts
likely
its own.
going to make it an annoying episode.
Yes.
Like, it's not going to. You're not going to find it funny how annoying he is.
Yeah.
Most likely, I
Well-
don't think many
well-
people would.
Okay, stop. And then the little pause.
And pause
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like he's omniscient somehow.
Yeah, like this one is like got reality controlling powers.
That one felt the most like after school specially to me because the worm was directly talking to you.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was basically saying like you can change any situation if you just say okay, stop. And then it was just that one was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there wasn't like I don't know, like it wasn't like there wasn't stuff to latch onto. Like there's not many memorable quotes. Like it feels like it's sort
The
of
password
happens.
thing was funny.
The password was like try entering my name, and he's like starts mashing like remember the hyphen.
And the keyboard is
Yeah.
literally just like anything besides
Right.
symbols.
Yeah.
And then that wasn't the password, and then Duck says, do my name instead, and then he just presses one button. And it's like, whack.
It's a quack. Yeah.
The computer says something that's really funny, and I can't remember what it is. It's like a one-off line. It's something about genocide. Does this ring a bell for anybody? Oh man, I hate
Maybe like
that.
on his exit or something. I can't remember.
It was-
Towards the end of it, he was just like, "Yeah, you guys can use the internet whenever you want."
Yeah, this is my
Yeah.
Which
present.
then implies Internet Day has always been a thing,
Thanks.
just because the computer only lets them
He
actually
just shows
do
up.
anything once a year.
Right. Yeah. No, some of the computers one-off lines are like some of like the funnier things in this episode.
The computer and the internet are the best parts, and that's only like 5 minutes of the
yeah,
25
and it's
minute
pretty
episode.
limited. The worm.
Yeah.
Everything with
I
the worm.
thought it was kind of neat that at the end the worm was literally just like a brain
brain worm,
parasite
yeah.
that they pulled out of the puppet, like an actual worm.
Which
Yeah.
was probably the grossest part. So this one was pretty light on that aspect.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it wasn't bloody. It wasn't anything.
surprisingly brain worm. Didn't bother me.
Really.
Yeah.
Until the end where Duck like lobotomizes
Lobotomizes.
Oh
yellow
yeah,
guy and
that's right.
impales it.
Yeah.
Seeing the yellow guy puppet get more and more like face sunk in and like
Oh my
jaw
gosh,
dropped.
yeah. That took some work.
I was going to say, I was
Yeah.
like, man, they've got to have at least a couple of those puppets like extra.
Yeah. Because I don't even know how you do that.
No, I don't know either.
Imagine going through that studio and just seeing like a puppet like that just face like
The
all
s- the
deformed,
studio
just hanging
itself
on like a
has
hook
to be
somewhere.
No, it has to be around a
Horrific.
corner where a light turns off every so often.
Yeah,
that way
like
it
just
really
flickers.
scares somebody.
Yeah.
Like it gets the one.
No, not nice try. Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm not working at a puppet show.
You don't want to run security for there overnight.
No, not unless I'm Nicolas Cage, and I get whatever that drink is that he has.
What did the worm think he was? Because like they were like you're literally
An
like
eagle.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
I thought he
It
was
was
an
an
eagle.
eagle. Yeah,
It's
that's
just
right.
it was taking a while longer for his wings.
for his
to grow.
wings to
Yeah.
grow. That's right. I remember that now.
Which tracks? Yeah.
And then the last episode is about transportation. And I thought this one was like a bit better than
Maybe a bit better.
It was better just in the sense that it was heading in that meta direction, which I think was kind of interesting, but I think it's probably something that feels more interesting maybe if you've like watched everything up to that. So it's just like there's already been so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, I mean there's probably already been enough to like be interested in this lore / world on a meta level, even with only having watched like the televised episodes.
Right.
But yeah, the fact that they're like trying to almost break out of the whatever matrix or what have you
Yeah.
that they're trapped within.
Yeah, I like how it starts where they're all sitting in there and they're like, what are we going to do today? And then somebody will come out of the sky and like talk to us about banks or
They
something
always
like
do.
that.
They always do. Yeah.
Yeah, and the red guy is just the best part of this episode.
Oh, yeah.
easily. he only just wants neighbors. Like he just
Yeah.
wants a house. he just wants this nice little like picket fence.
Don't we all, red guy?
He's like, no, it's right up here. It's just around the
It's right
corner.
around the corner.
We're almost there. And then it just gets worse and worse.
Right.
And I love all the like toys and stuff they get in the back of the car.
Yes.
There's like one of them gets like Netflix and raisins to eat, I think, and the other one does. I think he had like an ashtray
He
or
gets an
something to
ashtray.
play with.
And a mirror to look at.
Yeah.
Only
But yeah,
turns
the
into-
guy that shows up is like just a plane at first, or am I misremembering?
Train.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
it
it's
was
like a
train.
real guy wearing a train kind of
Yeah.
outfit.
Yeah. Well, and he dies, and they decide to drive him anyway
Yep.
because he's a vehicle.
Tracks.
And whenever he finally comes to, he's just like, "Oh, I'm out of my like fuel
My
or
special juice.
yeah." and they start trying to feed him raisins, and he's like, no, I need the fuel. It comes from like basically he's like describing as if it comes from like some layer of hell or something like that.
Yeah. They're like, well, where can we get it? We could probably make some, right? He's like, oh no, it comes from the center of the earth. It's very hot. Yeah. At one point, it looks like the Magic School Bus. Whenever they're like trotting along, and like he is like Miss Frizzle / the school bus.
Yeah, one of the animation styles that they do, where they do a 2D animation.
Yeah.
God, we can only pick 4 or 5 episodes of Magic School Bus for this show.
You got a TV slot you can use, buddy.
I might wipe it.
It might be worth it.
Yeah.
But overall, like that episode at the very beginning, or like towards like in the middle, I guess. Something references like, well, we always just land at home anyway.
I do love the meta commentary.
Yeah.
It's like, it's always just going to work out.
Yeah, things are going to happen. And then they do. They literally are stuck in the grate or the junkyard.
Yeah, how did they get back? Like something like...
They always just end up there.
Always get back.
That was the thing. But...
And the last episode really goes into the meta part of it, but it wasn't homework, so I'm not going to go over it.
Yeah, that's extracurricular work.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It is.
I will say it was far better than the previous 2 episodes.
Well, to be fair, those episodes were rough.
I agree 100%.
Anything compared to those ones probably is not too bad with it. So, I forget how we do Fat Thing Perfectly Fit as far as show to go. Like,
I don't know where you would go.
I don't even know how we start, especially for like a show like this.
I haven't even thought about my score all day long for this.
I truly haven't either.
So strange. But
yeah, I don't even know how you do it, especially for this TV show of all TV shows, because it's so, like, each episode is structured very, very differently than the one before.
Totally different structure, totally different
The
story.
only way they're similar is that they start in the house and they end in the house.
Well,
there's no telling what's happening.
each
in the middle.
That
one-
you got the same characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like bare minimal structure.
That's the skeleton, yeah.
Each one has a specific like lesson it is trying to teach and or a character that it's trying to introduce. Like the briefcase, basically the coffin.
The coffin's the best character.
The coffin's easily the best. Then the twins is one, and then obviously the
worm and then the
The
train.
the train,
like
yeah.
there's always
or electricity.
a main.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, and then the 6th one had
Yeah.
the electricity robot.
We forgot to talk about in the coffin when Duck's actually in there and he's like marking it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
what are you
he's
marking?
like-
How long I've been in here? It's been longer than that.
Oh, scratch. Stop that. And he's like, what is that? And he's like, well, I did in fact, have to use the bathroom. And I just peed everywhere. And he's just pissing all inside the coffin. How long am I supposed to be here? And he's like, maybe you don't get what this is going on here. Yeah.
It showed like the highlight reel on that like tombstone.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that? The
yeah.
TV screen pops
And
around.
the guys were just like, none of this actually happened.
Yeah, none of that happens.
All right, so the question I have is, what is your favorite song that was in here?
Probably the 3 of us.
The theme song? The theme song is good.
If I had to pick.
It's cool how each time, like, there's a different
It's always
iteration
very
each,
different.
each time,
Yeah.
which I really like.
Hot take, it's the worm song.
What was the
I
word
can't even
song?
remember that one.
It's the one where they're inside his head and they're like jingling around.
I really don't remember it.
That's why it's so good. It's forgettable. The ones I remember I didn't like, but that one comes and goes, and I was just like, you know what? Very
That is
nice.
true because they're all like dancing and
Yeah.
it's like a montage of like the bubble bath yellow.
Yeah, it's all these
man,
other
and
versions of him in the dream, like
shy older brother. and-
Yeah, and you cannot remember that song to save your life, can you?
No.
Not a bit.
I don't really. I'm not really one for actually attaching to any music in shows and movies.
Mhm.
I feel like it's
That's
really
fair.
got to stand out for me to even think about that.
But my 2 favorites came actually from both the death episode, where the first one was the big day, like we got to get things ready for the big day, and they're doing that song, and then it's like you got to get the fresh minced beef, and then
Oh
they're
my God.
just making a
well,
shepherd's
okay.
pie.
Yeah, it gets derailed. Like, wait, no, we're not supposed to be doing
Right.
And then it just hard cuts to the funeral, and he like still has the chef hat on, and Red Guy just takes it off. And then the other one, I liked Memories a lot in this one, where like it starts out like a ballad kind of song. It's like he used to like doing this, and then it gets really dark with the other guy being like, I go and get the shovel, and then I
Yep.
start digging up my friend's grave.
Yep.
And it's just like the descent into super dark I really liked. So that one had my favorites.
Who's everyone's favorite character? I mean,
It's red.
It's-
Oh, it's Duck.
Oh god, I'm so glad we're all so different.
The duck has the line.
The best
Red's
one-liners.
energy throughout that. Like Red is a straight
Yeah.
man for this.
He
Red
is.
is it.
Yeah.
And Yellow, it's obviously centered around Yellow quite a bit because, like, he is the
Yeah.
one who either finds the solution accidentally
Uh-huh.
or it is, like, played in his favor most of the time.
Right. He's
Oh,
like
yeah.
the secret main character of the show. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Especially on the family episode, it feels like
Yeah.
that's very indicative of how the show always goes. It's like somehow he always has the spotlight on him, but
Yeah.
I mean, except for the death episode, the duck, James, David, whatever.
But he's the one that digs him up. you
I know, right?
It's
So
like-
it goes by full circle. Yeah.
Duck, I just think Duck has the most like my favorite thing. Almost my favorite thing about the show is like the quick zings that they get, and I think Duck just has the most of them. Like when he in the death episode, he's like, "How?" They ask him, "How did you die?" He's like, "I didn't have any water." Just the stupid stuff like that. Yeah. So mine was Duck. What was yours?
Yeah.
Yours?
Red.
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 Yeah.
I guess Duck.
Poor Yellow.
Poor Yellow.
If we're adding
I mean-
if we're adding side characters, I would say Coffin though.
Oh, okay. What about side
Yeah,
characters?
Coffin,
That's a good one.
Coffin was really good.
Coffin's good.
Coffin might be my favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
Mine is hands down Duncan. I love Duncan. In the Jobs episode, like this is the
Oh.
guy who works on our website. This is Duncan.
Yeah.
And he's working on the website. Just says Duncan. And Duncan's just like, that's not a website.
I'm gonna go with Electricity. It was the extracurricular, but it was easily the best side character. She
That-
Even though it
It's a
spent
puppet.
most of the episode,
half alive.
Yeah.
Because they took the battery out of
well,
it.
they switched the batteries out, and then they also proceeded to be like, let's turn everything into electricity.
So just to preface a little
Yeah,
bit,
a
Dylan,
little
the
context.
yellow guy
Uh-huh.
debuts that he's got batteries as well, and electricity comes out of the wall, and it's like, by the way, electricity is cool. Bet you didn't know how that light turns on. Blah blah blah. Anyways,
Well, and they're like, oh, you can't be electric powered. You're not plugged into the wall. And he's like, oh, I got batteries. And then yellow guy's like, I've got batteries
and they look
too.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Super
bloody and
rusty
like
and
weird.
gross.
So then they swap the batteries. Yellow becomes super limitless intelligent.
Yeah.
Like crazy cool, and he's like figuring things out. Like he's easily the smartest
Well,
one in
he
the group.
becomes like a normal human
Yeah.
Yeah.
level of intelligence,
Right.
where he's just like seeing through all of this. as
Seeing through the
madness.
show, yeah.
And now the transformer person who's, been so nice about electricity is like bogging down because of the bad batteries, and like he said, everything is electric now. Like a
Mhm.
toothbrush, like a pen is electricity now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But it's really good.
Ready for scores, Dylan?
Score it up, starting with Mason.
I didn't care for this show a ton.
You sounded so enthusiastic
I know.
the whole time.
It's a lot of bait and switch.
Like, man, I
Yeah.
hated this.
My issue with this is it loses a lot of that like wow factor very soon. Like, it's not that funny to me. I giggle very like
Intermittently.
periodically,
Yeah.
like throughout the entire thing, and it's one-liners, I guess. That's really about it. These, much like Fritz the Cat, like these things don't quite
No.
make sense together.
Don't bring him in here.
They don't.
This
and
is a peanut
Fritz
butter
the
and
Cat
ketchup
should have been a
thing.
show because like it was those 3 chapters. I remember we all talked
Yeah.
about it. Like he was in 3 different scenarios, but this one is the same thing where it's just like each episode is different. It's almost like an anthology. None of them tie together. But I don't know. I didn't enjoy it a lot. I remember after the first Jobs episode, I wanted to strangle Price. I think I sent him a message saying this fucking better get better.
Yeah.
Like, if it doesn't, I'm going to be really mad.
Yeah.
Which luckily it did for a couple. But, no, I mean, it's a 6. It's very alright, and I will not pursue it ever again. I'll not tell anybody to watch it.
Mhm.
I'm not going to go back and watch 3, 4, and 5 or whatever it was.
Mhm.
So
When this turned out to be the last pick on the wheel, I think y'all remember me saying, like, I wish this was not the last one.
Yeah.
I really
That's funny.
don't.
Yeah.
that is funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mason
looking for the wheel.
Mason really covered a lot of what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I think he's absolutely right. This is a 6. Like, it's not bad enough to be in a 5 category or less.
It's not.
Yeah, like it's
It didn't waste our time.
no, because it's so quick and its tonal changes for better and for worse, are so just like pay attention long enough that you keep whiplashing you around.
Yeah.
And there is a couple. I mean, again, like the kid episode and the death episode, like I felt a little engaged. Like I would say it feels close to. Oh boy,
Do
it
you
felt.
know what this is?
Wonder Show. Yeah, this is an Adult Swim content.
Chosen?
No, so this was on MTV2. This
Holy
is
That's
hell.
what I'm. Yeah.
so this is something that it's not the same, but it's like the same vibe.
Yeah, it
Open
is,
that bad
yeah.
boy
Oh,
up.
definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely in that same energy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not for children, it says on the front.
Right.
I like it.
I love that this is a thing that you got with it. Anyway, so yeah, I would say it's a 6. It has like episodes of 7, but we got to review the whole package, and at least what I caught of it, like
Yeah.
when we're saying 2 of the episodes were
Yeah.
good enough for my eyes not to want to glaze over, while the other 3 I was like, oh my god, kill me. Like, yeah, this is just a 6. It never reaches too bad of a lows, but I'm not recommending it.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah, Nathan.
Nathan, what you got?
It's good. The worm episode's kind of meh, whatever. It's not really got a lot of greatness to it, but the death coffin stuff is amazing. The family episode was great. The work episode was awesome. I like I like meta
Life
sort of
commentary.
stuff going on, so I thought the transportation one was good. I also like the electricity one. I'm gonna say it's like an 8.5. I like what they've done. I would like to see them do more. I watched the original stuff like after the time that most people had seen it, because it just somehow had missed me, but I remember liking that stuff too at the time. So
Did you watch
Yeah.
all of them?
Yeah.
The shorts. Did you watch the food one? The food one, I think, is the best one.
I just remember the
the
clock.
thing is, like, I don't remember them all super well because it has been a little while.
It's
so
just Duck and
I'd probably
Yellowrat.
I'd probably have to rewatch.
Okay.
them all.
We should have read.
we
I
would
would,
hate
we wouldn't
that
even
one,
like
yeah.
it.
We
Yeah.
should we
Yeah.
should watch it together. That's actually there's a part in one of them where Duck's talking like to some bread that's there and is like, "Can you all help me?" Like, no. Then he takes one of the kids and like toasts it or something.
No,
But
that,
anyway,
that
that's-
happened in this, didn't it?
Yeah, that's from the bread is from the food episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've been watching these since day one, since they came out, and thoroughly enjoyed them. I think for me, the Jobs and Death episode are both 10s. Like, I love those two episodes. But all these episodes are so hit and miss, in my opinion. Like, War and the Eagle is a pretty miss, and then Transportation's fine. But yeah, there's a lot of highs and lows, but man, it hits for him almost all the time. It's a show that really rewards you watching it very closely because there's stuff in the background that you could miss. There's little lines, they make like little inflections all the time that really pay off with you watching it. And I always laugh every time I'm seeing it. I even bought that there's a Blu-ray off
Don't.
off
Don't.
Etsy. Like I
What?
I love it.
Somebody just burned a Blu-ray and
Yeah,
sold it
and
to
I
you.
and I bought it because like it just seems like one of those things like it's already so hard to get a hold of. Like the way we watched it was on YouTube. I'm saying it now because like if it gets caught, it gets taken down, whatever. But like it just seems like
Yeah.
something that's like so ethereal, like it could just be gone so quickly. So
Yeah.
to have a hard
Hate that
copy
for
of
it.
something I really enjoy is
It's like this one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's
where
like-
can you find that besides pirating?
And who is even aware that this existed at
Yeah.
this point? Other than
I didn't
people
know that
watch
it
it.
was
That
hard
time.
documented. Yeah, that was a show on. Yeah, after you mentioned MTV2, I'm like, oh, that immediately triggered
Yeah,
the brain.
they God commits suicide in that show,
Yeah,
and then they eat him.
yeah.
Mm,
Seems like something
wow.
Nathan would like.
I'm saying kind of like
Yeah.
South Park with like Saddam Hussein having
Yeah.
sex with the devil or
It,
something.
Yeah.
it goes real crazy, and it's surprising how many children they have in that show.
Hooray!
But before we sign off, this
What's your
it's
score?
almost a 9.5, but I'm gonna go down to a 9. I really really enjoy this show. So
So
Yeah.
off camera, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, guys, it'd be really cool to like maybe jot down whoever we think scores are gonna be. Well,
Uh-huh.
this is a perfect representation.
Oh my.
To think that Nathan and Price were between 8.5 and 9 on this. Wow.
it's so good because it's so quick. Like even Dylan was saying at a 6, he's like if you're engaged and you're not like it doesn't feel long, it doesn't feel short. Like you're always there, and I think that means a lot for
This
a
is
show.
a rare example of our humor actually being
Yeah,
on.
Yeah.
actually, a lot of
Very
yeah,
rarely
very-
this children's show goes dark was a whole category. I didn't know that Nathan and Price shared, but here we are.
Well, that's the thing, and it wasn't too far away from because like I liked the darkness of it. If anything, it just didn't have enough.
Right.
You know,
If anything,
but-
this could have been a whole. I mean, it could have been a whole 6.5 if it was
I
just.
think-
Yeah.
Friday
I
Nights
think
at
it would
Freddy's.
be. I think it would get flat though if
It's
all
rarely
of it.
that level.
If all of it was like the family episode, I think it would be flat. I think it gives a lot of different
The fact
emotions
that
the whole
there's a
time.
range to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the range is definitely there.
Yeah.
You get it all.
We got a new wheel, everybody.
New
Whole
wheel,
wheel.
new descriptions.
New wheel, new me.
Same season. Don't
Ah.
ask. We don't know either.
Don't ask questions.
Spin the wheel.
You don't care. We don't care.
Do critics know we'll be on this show?
I doubt it.
It's red.
What do we got?
What does that mean?
Is it meta? What is?
Oh,
Is Mason-
talking about
Is
meta.
this immediately Jill's?
That's Jill's pick.
Oh,
Jill!
I don't
Jill!
know what it is.
What
Hold
is
on.
it?
I want. Jill still.
I think she
oh, wait.
left.
Is she?
Yeah, I think she did. Yeah.
Jill's
Alright,
here.
No, she's here.
Oh,
Guess-
she is
guess who
here.
it landed on?
Immediately landed.
It immediately landed on
I
yours.
wish I'd picked something really, really good.
So come on camera and say what it is.
All right, come on in.
Come on in, Jill.
I'll stay from over here.
All right, well, you gotta yell
Ah.
louder because the mic
it's,
is.
it's the first Scream movie.
First Scream?
Ooh, I
Let's
like
go!
it. I've never seen it.
Scream Uno.
Scream Uno.
Is Hayden Panettiere in this?
No,
No,
well,
no,
not in
It's the
Scream
fourth
1.
one.
She's in the fourth one.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Scream 1 was
The
shot
fourth one
in
was the best one.
1990.
It was in the 90s.
5, 96
I
probably.
think it was late 90s.
I think
So
it
would she
was-
be like a
98.
Would she be a fetus or toddler?
She's probably in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Just a glimmer in her father's eye.
Right, yeah. I don't think she's that young, guys. She acted in a show in 2006.
She's getting ready for her best performance in Until Dawn.
Jill, you gonna be on this next week?
Sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
Jill is in.
Anyway, so make sure to tune in next week for Scream.
Ah!
Just the first one. Until then, make sure to let us know what we are doing in the comments below.
Know what we're doing.
Yeah. Are we recording a podcast?
I
We
mean,
don't know
let
either.
you pick the movie, and I have commented on your podcast.
That's true.
There it is.
Is our lighting
It's as easy
great?
as that.
Let us know in the comments below. Did you watch Zardos? Let us know in the comments below. In the meantime,
I'm letting.
hit the bell.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was a.
Yeah, no.
No, it was
Thing.
not a Captain America thing.
Yeah.
I was helping Dylan. out.
Avengers Assemble, I guess. But anyways, make sure to hit the bell so you know when we upload that next episode. And Jill will be there with us. So until then, we'll catch you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
There's no way you can hate this one more than Third Star. There's just no way.
That's
I
true.
don't. I think